And welcome to GAU Radio. I'm your host, Eric Rubino, and to my right, I have Drew Frere. How you doing, Dre?
I'm doing fantastic, Eric.
Well, we got Alex also Skyping in with us from an undisclosed location. How you doing, Alex?
Sounds like he's doing well.
Nice sounding back there, Alex. Great intro. Well, we got a lot on our plate tonight. We needed to give you a midweek show about games because there's just so much news going on recently with all these games coming out. It's game season and it's next gen consoles are out in a month, less than. But first, let's talk about some news. Warner Brothers is holding back review copies of Batman Arkham Origins. This isn't the craziest thing in the world. A lot of games do have review embargoes, but to have it until the day it comes out is not a good sign for people who pre-ordered the game. Like, what do you guys think?
Do you think it'll still be released on time? I guess will be the first topic of discussion.
Well, it's supposed to come out Friday, so it's definitely going to be released on time. Usually when companies do this, it's because they know the reviews aren't going to be so positive, and they're trying to drive up the impulse buy first day sales.
Possibly. There are companies that don't do it as a policy, but Warner Brothers isn't one of those that has that policy. As far as I know.
I mean, it's skeptical at best, but I'm excited about the game. Hopefully, it turns out well.
I'm excited if they're doing it to drum up publicity, but
it could be
if there is like a game-breaking glitch that they have to fix, as I suspect there might be, because of the really quick nature in which they made this announcement, then that's too bad. But I'm also happy they're fixing it. I mean, is having no day one reviews of a game really that bad of a thing? Let's let the consumers judge for themselves. You know? Yeah,
I mean, time will tell on Friday. We'll see. And other news of releases, Deus Ex Human Revolution, the collector's edition, has just come out. It is 50% off if you already have the original game, and it's 75% off if you bought the Missing Link DLC. So those huge Deus Ex fans can get their hands on this director's cut content for a lot cheaper than usual. This is actually a really good policy. I like this.
Definitely. I hope more companies will do it in the future. I hope there's as much extra content as they're sort of flouting for it. But
yeah, hopefully. I mean, I haven't played the original one, but yeah, Alex, you like it.
I paid only $5.99, so the price point's about right.
Yeah, that's a big thing nowadays, is that you can sell games for cheaper through digital distribution, and more people will buy it.
And you'll probably be saving even more for owning it for $5.99 if you want to buy the collector's edition. It'll probably save you a good $20 or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's $40, most collector's editions cost even more than that. But I know that with a lot of modern games like BioShock Infinite, they said they cut out 2 or 3 games worth of content extra. So if this director's cut contains as much as what 2K Boston has done, then you could really be getting a lot for your money.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this collector's edition is $19.99. But I had a copy myself of the game previously, so it ended up only being $5.99 to upgrade. Going, well, there we go.
That's awesome.
I can live with this.
Yeah.
Is it worth a replay?
Yeah, it's a game that is actually quite replayable, and I've replayed it a couple of times.
Well, sounds good. Let's jump into some PC news. Star Citizen hit its $24 million mark for its Kickstarter, and it's setting a new stretch goal to try to add more content to the game. I'm definitely in for a space sim. I'm very happy that it reached its mark. Also, in terms of PC, Path of Exile 1.0 has officially been released today, just a couple of hours ago. Drew, you're going to be doing a review for us, right?
Yep, I just updated my game. I'm primed and I'm ready to go.
Nice. Alex claims it's going to be, well, it already is better than Diablo 3.
That's not setting a high bar.
Diablo, yeah, exactly. Diablo means that's kind of oh, geez, it doesn't take much to jump over, dude. You can just step over it, dude. High jump wise, even a fat kid can do it.
Okay, but all metaphors aside, we're really excited for Path to Exile.
Definitely.
And we're hoping that it'll kill Diablo off a little bit, take some of that market share back from Blizzard. I know Torchlight's been doing a great job of it, but I miss a good dungeon crawler, you know?
I should also
copies can't be wrong.
Yeah, I should also mention it's free to play, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, go get the game. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, give it a try. Nothing to lose, right?
Yeah. Also, in EA news, they recently, I don't know if it was an accident, but they mentioned that they're developing 15 plus titles that were to be using the Frostbite 3 engine. Now we know Battlefield 4 will be using it. The new Battlefront game, the Star Wars game, Need for Speed Rivals will be using it. Need for Speed Rivals. We know that basically I counted about 7 titles that I already know about. So this is just great that there's 8 titles they haven't introduced yet. But also coming from EA, let's hope they're good titles and not rehashes of old games. I know there's a new Mass Effect coming out that's supposedly using Frostbite 3.
Yeah, I'm always excited when a new engine comes along like that, and especially once you kind of get a standard for that, it's good that EA has picked Frostbite for all these different titles. And also, so many titles across a broad spectrum of genres, like racing games and first-person shooters and third-person adventure games. It's exciting to see that the engine has that much versatility, you know? And hopefully it'll last us for a while to come.
Yeah, they're definitely aiming for the next-gen consoles with this. Speaking of next-gen consoles, PlayStation 4 has Party Chat that supports up to 8 users, but that's across PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, which was huge because that is the only feature that they really lacked on the side of internet. Xbox Live had a Party Chat function, which mostly the users use. I'm really looking forward to this. I already have mine pre-ordered, so this is going to be great. We can actually start a party before we go into a game rather than in the game.
So if I'm getting this right, Vita users will be able to chat with PlayStation 4 users as they play the same games together online?
This is correct. So a lot of the Vita games have this cross compatibility. Like I was playing Hotline Miami today. It instantly saves it to the cloud, and I can instantly play exactly where I left off on my Vita. So more and more of these games, you can use a Vita as a second controller and this and that. So adding a microphone and headphones to that, it's great. It's basically like a phone service, right? If you got a lot of your friends on there, you can contact them whenever. But speaking about next-gen consoles and next-gen games, we want to talk about Assassin's Creed 4 today. Recently, there's been a report that it has over 900 people working on the development team. Now, that is just ridiculous. Recently, Ubisoft lost 20% of its stock price due to delay in Watch Dogs and the poor sales with Rayman Legends and the latest Hitman title. Both got good reviews, but not so amazing ones that it's really going to push them over the edge. Basically, what we want to talk about and what I have questions for you is 900 people. Why do you need so many people to work on a game?
Well, I think there must be some mismanagement going on Ubisoft's side, because if you get 900 people working on something, you logically should produce content that people are really going to like and want to play. I think it really just comes down to whoever's managing these teams must be picking the wrong content or managing them incorrectly, so they're producing something that people don't want to play. The other big tragedy that I see here is that Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins didn't exactly sell well for Ubisoft, it seems. Either they structured their framework wrong, so that because people love that game. That was a fantastic game.
I love them, yeah.
I guess they either sold less than they thought, even though it was a very successful title. So it seems like there's a management problem going on there.
Yeah, Splinter Cell didn't do too well either. Alex, is this just blowing up their budget for no reason?
Well, maybe not no reason, but they need someone to audit themselves. They need some auditors. They need a team. They need an army of auditors to go through that bloody place. Because I just cannot see a reason why. And going to Drew's point, I think maybe the bloated size of these teams is the problem. There's just too many people. There's just too much, bureaucratic management nonsense you have to deal with.
One would hope that you have 900 people that the bugs and the quality assurance would all be grounded out. But on the other hand, I'm kind of afraid that the amount of people contributes to too many ideas and not many of them are fleshed out, which seems to be problems with Assassin's Creed games. They have, kind of this repeatable content where the first time you play it, it's fun, but the second time, it lost a spark. Could it be because these 900 people, aren't that devoted to the cause? Only 100 of them, could be working with the CEOs and getting the ideas panned out, and the rest are just doing grunt work.
Honestly, I'd like to see a breakdown of what those jobs are actually going towards. Because I know with newer games and the larger graphics engine, obviously you need more people to work on renderings and like art for the game. But I'd really like to see what exactly 900 people can do individually to create a video game.
Yeah.
Well, think how many people it would take to manage 900 people.
That
just
alone.
That alone to it's just, you need a I don't know. You probably need several dozen managers for this.
Which would result in several different major people having input on the game.
And their salaries are going to be much higher. You're going to you're not just simply looking at 5 figures. You're going to be looking at 6-figure salaries.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of that budget goes towards marketing too. I'm sure they're going to have a blockbuster level commercial for the game as well, maybe even 3 or 4. And really, are they putting too many eggs in one basket with this Assassin's Creed title? If they're devoting this much to it, I mean, sure, it's Assassin's Creed, so it's going to sell well, but is it going to sell well enough to actually make up for all that they've put into it?
Yeah.
How much have they dropped it? 250 million, 200 million, something along those lines?
It's gotta be. I mean, in the previews, the map is enormous. I hope that it's being put to good use. They needed these 900 people, but I'm skeptical if they really did.
Honestly, it's new ideas and really cool, fun content that sells me on games, not necessarily an enormity of a game world.
That is true.
I've never bought a game because of how large the in-game map was.
That's true.
Well, to me, the reasons I haven't bought games is, for instance, voice acting, graphics to a certain point, but things like, paying for Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Having one
that kind
big
of stuff,
name or
it's
something.
Nice, but it's not several $1 million nice, if you get what I'm saying.
It's true. Another question: is this an indication of where games are going? Are they gonna be like movies where you put a whole all this effort into your one big blockbuster, and then that's kind of it for a while, and then another big blockbuster? Is this just showing that this industry is growing and growing, and in order to produce the kind of games you want, you need 900 people? I don't know how many people exactly worked on Rockstar, but I was checking NeoGAF forums and stuff. People were suggesting, around 500 worked on GTA 5. So that'd be double that.
Honestly, I don't think it's sort of a reason for where the games industry is going so much as a sort of indicator of what's going to happen. I think that after we see how well this Assassin's Creed does is when we'll really determine where our industry is going to head, Because you can't go all in like this many times.
Good point. I mean, if it works, I'm sure they're going to do it on their next one, right?
Yep, exactly. It's a big...
As far as I know, no. I think it could be growing pains. You got to learn. You got to make a mistake to learn from it, kind of thing. But you think they would have learned their mistake from Splinter Cell and Hitman and Rayman, but...
Yeah, and they're not really in the position to be throwing money around and experimenting if this sort of thing actually works.
True.
If they just lost 20% of their stock prices for other games that aren't even this one.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta question it.
People are just are focusing more on the ideas now. I think they're looking past the presentation.
Definitely. I think that kind of graphics, once you hit indie games, you realize why do I care so much about the graphics of a game? It's all about how it plays, and it's all about the story. As long as I'm invested, I'm in.
Yeah, time will certainly tell with this Assassin's Creed title. Now, for a word from our sponsors, you'll see the latest Path to Exile trailer, and we'll join you again in just a few moments.
Whether your dogs chew through the power cord or the power won't turn on at all, our dependable, experienced team will help get you, your kids, back in the gaming seat in no time. Bring your broken system in today.
So we gotta check. I was just checking out the stream on different platforms. Checked it out on the phone. It's awesome on the phone.
It's our Red Sox turn.
You guys talk about the Red Sox.
Schmate. Yeah, right at the end. We're gonna go Sox. We got this next discussion.
Is that the last part?
Yeah.
This chair is like so gangsta lean that I'm like hurting my neck. I'm just like going like this and hunched over the light. Oh.
I don't know. It cut out for a second and it jumped right back on.
Yeah,
It's fine. I hear myself repeat. Yeah.
Oh, that was like in the beginning. That's when I actually what I was trying to do. I was trying to take something off of. I was trying to delete like the first on the home page, but then I was like, it should be good.
How long is this commercial?
How much time do we have?
Is there going to be a Path to Exile thing?
That was playing.
I told them there would be a Path to Exile thing.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
I don't want to get
No.
angry letters.
It's different in capture. I really like the soft lighting actually. It actually makes you guys look brighter. It doesn't look as dark as it can.
Yeah, that's usually what they do. Like studios will have that kind of light.
Yeah. I didn't think about that at all. This is a free light. Yeah.
The best things in life are free.
Yeah.
These things in light are free.
Best thing in light.
You know how misused the word defiantly is on the internet? People cannot spell definitely.
Defiantly.
Someone went through on Twitter and searched every instance of the word defiantly.
Oh my god.
In every single search result, no one was using it as the word was supposed to be.
Classic. Classic Twitter.
It's like a word that exists spelled from definite. One of them says they defiantly did something.
Defiantly.
I defiantly went to Stop and Shop and got some eggs today.
See that right there? Not even half point. That's why it's good to have.
Oh yeah, that's why the commercials are so good.
I want to see the trailer.
You mute audio. Yeah, I mute all. You mute audio, right? You gotta do that. You good? Yep. Everything.
Oh, so look, so we can like stream FIFA 2K. You know what I'm saying? Also Marvel and shit.
It's pretty
So it's still laboratory and shit.
Hey there, this is Chris from Grinding Gear Games. Path of Exile has been in open beta since January, and we're releasing it later this month.
This is not really covering. It's more like Steam.
which allow you to receive a discounted set of
It's more like indie games on
Physical
Steam. Oh no, I'm
versions,
just the title of our
exclusive
next.
in-game hits,
It's not really crowdfunding wars.
When
It's
Path of
more
Exile
like
is released on October 23rd, these packs will stop being sold, and their content
Nothing
will
to
be available.
try to avoid as
If you'd like
best
to receive
possible
their
to not touch the
contents
mic.
via
Every time you
multiple
touch, you
open
hear
beta
that?
support,
you're
then that
just
will
gonna
be
Yeah, I can feel like it
Quickly
keeps
run through
falling
packs that are
away.
available.
Yeah. I don't know. You
Yeah.
gotta fix that because I was gonna try to tell you. Every time I try to say it, I either confuse you guys or
It feels like it keeps
$30
falling.
on Matsu on the forum
fix
as
it.
an
'Cause,
open
we
beta
got, we got
support.
under half.
200 points,
Hey, how much
a
time do
digital
you
copy of the soundtrack, and the
To go back?
Yeah.
Baby
I'm about to go
Roar.
back like in probably.
The Roar pets are only available from these open beta packs and won't be for sale later. The remaining packs come with in-game cosmetic weapons.
Tighten the bar.
We're going to stream a little commercial right now.
The Regal pack costs $50.
So it was like,
and
what do they talk that way?
It would kept
Tonight,
like
we're talking about Steam.
You also receive extra baby
Yeah,
Roar
I
if
guess
you
it's
want to
'cause,
take
like-
the Bloomer jar.
Well, I was going to say, if you have headphones on your phone,
Gravity's like
go to the game.
You
You can listen to it. But I
Just
have
kept
everything.
everything.
800 points.
Yeah, I think
It marks you as a divine supporter.
You go to
and comes
packs?
with a divine weapon
I'm
effect
getting
and the
trying to
divine
get
rower
new
pass.
passes actually.
This pack includes a
Dude,
special
they
set
sold
of
out at
physical
30-day
support
festival.
swag.
I know, yeah, the passes. You guys should even talk about that. Make sure you guys announce that, okay?
Two
Talk
Path
about
of
that.
Exile
Saturday passes sold out
choice of
too.
either
Saturday
Black
passes sold out.
Saturday and 3 day
It's
ago.
really
White
done.
with 6 links
And also let them know about what's
based
going
a
on in the
unique
city
item tabula
tonight,
rasa.
you know,
Free
congratulations,
international
Red
shipping
Sox.
is included.
You guys are back. And make
What's
sure
our
you
last item? 'Cause I'll do a Red Sox
It's
outro.
in the map. We're just talking about crowdfunding. We're gonna do the 7 days to die. Their thing got taken off
The physical
for
goods from the
that
divine
zombie
expanded
thing,
so that you receive
and then the
multiple
dark
t-shirts
matter
rather than
game
just
that
one,
ended
and an
earlier.
open beta skill tree poster.
And then
You also
after
get
this-
I mean, once the dark matter discussion tears off, we can get rid of it.
The Eternal Pack is
You can
$1,500.
end it.
The reason that this
You
one
guys
is so
hear it, right?
expensive is that it entitles you to contribute to the design of a unique.
So we're gonna be going back and probably, I think, actually, you guys should get an idea of how long these things are.
Name, art, properties, and flavor text of an item that can drop
I'll say you
in-game.
have another about
Over 350
15
people have
seconds.
purchased this privilege or the closed beta equivalent so far.
It's just going to continue to
Pack
go.
also comes with the
So-
additional support of forum type.
I can do it.
The eternal
You can do
weapon
it?
effect. and
Just
of
don't
course,
switch right
I will
now.
switch back. I'll let you click and then I'll switch back.
track from the exalted.
Hey guys, we're coming back. We're coming back soon.
Second
So
open beta skill tree poster with custom styling and create a custom forum avatar for you based on your request. And there's also the Ruler of Rayclass pack for 12.5 grand, which may be outside the price range of some
Alright,
players.
guys.
If you're interested to find out more about this pack, please check
10
out the site.
seconds, 5 seconds.
To buy a pack, just select it at pathofexile.com/purchase. You'll also be able to upgrade from one pack to another on the site. We support payment plans if you can't afford to pay for it in one go.
Wait
Please
for it.
email support@grindinggear.com to arrange this if you're interested. Thank you so much for your generous support. Without your contributions, we wouldn't be able to create and maintain Path of Exile. It has been an amazing 7 years bringing this game to release, and we're anticipating many future years of content additions. I'm looking forward to playing with you in Rayclass at release. In the meantime, enjoy your supporter packs.
And we are back.
So, what we're going to talk about now is recently in the past week, there have been a lot of problems with Steam games and some issues with, the way they were produced. So let's start with one project that is called 7 Days to Die. It recently received DMCA to take down the game due to infringing content. As of right now, it is officially taken down. The makers of the game Killing Floor have claimed that the 7 Days of Die dev team took one of their assets for a zombie creature, something called a clot in the Killing Floor, can be seen in 7 Days to Die. So they got rid of the whole game completely from Steam. This was an honest mistake, though. It was built into the Unreal Engine kit or Unreal Development Kit, and they just happened to have it in there. They didn't know it was in Killing Floor, but the whole game is gone. Let's start with you, Alex. What does this say about indie games?
Well, just a couple clarifications. First, it was they use the Unity development kit,
Unity
not the
Development
Unreal.
Kit.
But I was surprised to see it taken down, and I find it quite odd that they would go after somebody for, I don't know, for I guess producing a zombie type similar.
But I think it seems more of a maleficent thing. Like they were doing it to be mean. They weren't doing it because they stole an asset. It was in the development kit. They just simply used it, figuring who cares. But they took down their game. They halted sales of the game. Couldn't they have sent them a letter saying, you use this, can you please take it out and re-release your game? Instead, they went to such drastic measures.
Honestly, I'm kind of on Killing Floor's side on this. I think the Clot is a pretty specific looking type of monster, and I think it really defines the Killing Floor gameplay. So to see that in another game that wasn't associated with Killing Floor in a way, I can definitely see how they feel like their property was infringed upon. Even if it came from a developer pack, it's kind of what it's become as opposed to what it started as that's really calling to question here.
That's true. I think in some ways though you should be looking back at Unity, being Unity is to blame for this. Or even maybe Killing Floor is to blame for it because they left it in there.
I guess it could be, but I mean how would you feel if you saw the Scout or something in a different game? Do you think TF2 would have a problem with that?
They probably would have they would definitely have an issue with it. But if it was a simple mistake, I feel like it could have been talked about. Maybe it isn't so simple as we're hearing. But
yeah, like I said, it's really difficult to get a perspective on that because I don't think anything like this has ever happened before.
Yeah, and
having a character from a development kit be shown in a game that is other than another game that they're already popular in.
Alex, has this ever happened before?
I think I believe it has. Well, they kind of sued for things that were made that were similar.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. But again, it was something that was solved, or oftentimes not even realized until after the game was released.
Yeah, honestly, I'm interested to see how this develops, and I think it'll set a precedent for what happens in the future regarding these sorts of things.
I think 7 Days to Die is gonna come back without
absolutely.
that thing, and I don't think it's gonna really hurt their sales. If anything, it might drive them up because it will pop up on Reddit and pop up on the top of gaming news saying, "Oh, 7 Days to Die is back." You know, they got rid of it, they cleared it up. I think this could be positive. It probably was negative in the short term, but positive in the long term.
Absolutely, all good press. All press
All
is
press
good
is
press. And I think
Somebody
it
should tell Wild Games that.
It shouldn't be too hard to just reskin, one of your features.
Right. It shouldn't be too hard.
That's something you can bang
Well,
out pretty
it
quick.
takes a number of hours. I mean, it's not something that takes an hour to do or something, but it'd take a couple of days to get everything set up, the assets created.
It's better than getting rid of your game.
Yeah, it's better than having to start from scratch and keep going. So I feel like we got anything else to say on that.
Yeah, what's next on our small game hit list?
So this game, Dark Matter, came out this week. It was released on Steam. I believe it went through a Kickstarter, and maybe I don't know. I don't think it went on Steam Greenlight. They didn't make all of the money that they needed to make it, but they sold their game anyway. Originally, they promised everyone, a 12-hour game where you really get into the world of Dark Matter. And it's like a Metroid-style game. It looks really cool.
So it's a 2D side-scroller?
Yeah, it's a 2D side-scroller. It looks awesome. It was good. People were saying it was a good game. Then about 4 hours into the game, you're strolling around down a lobby. You go through a door, and you're shown a screen of just plain text explaining the rest of the plot. So you played for 4 hours and then had a screen that explained the rest of the plot to you, instead of mentioning, we made a 4-hour game. Sorry we didn't deliver on it. We're working on the rest. This is episode 1. They just sold it like normal. It was completely just.
I don't think they even mentioned in the Kickstarter that they were deciding to make this episodic.
No, they didn't. They were planning for a 12-hour game. They never mentioned at all that it was going to be episodic.
That's tough. If you're going to do something like that to your fans, you've got to explain it ahead of time.
Yeah, and then, so what happened is people were like, WTF, why is this screen showing up? And they replied, we ran out of money, so we just ended the game, just to give you a taste of Dark Matter. We're going to give you some other ones in the future. But
Assuming that one does well.
yeah, but I mean, after this, nobody else is going to buy the game. But not only that, it was removed from Steam and GOG, and they're offering refunds for the game.
Well, GAU Games is at least. Steam doesn't.
Steam just removed it, so Good Old Games is offering refunds, and the development team has been kicked off the project. They are done, and a whole different team is now working on finishing the game.
Wow. Well,
There's a lot to soak in.
Yeah, that's big.
I mean,
I'm surprised that Steam and GOG didn't step in beforehand. They do play the games and preview them, right, to make sure that they're sellable?
so that's the question. They apparently quality check games. Do you really think they're gonna play a full game?
I mean, if it's a 12-hour game, you want to
noticed that something was wrong.
Yeah, and that also brings us to our problems with Kickstarters. And people are saying one thing with these Kickstarters to get a bunch of money, and then they're going
And then they
doing
can't
another
deliver
thing.
it. Yeah, they're not delivering exactly what they said.
And there's no real downside for them. They just say, "Oh, sorry, we took all your money and we did the wrong thing."
Like we got the money, but we bit off more than we can chew. It's really as game developers aren't contacting us because we know they're gonna get fame, but really it's the opposite. I feel like I wouldn't be mad at Dark Matter if they went ahead and said, "Hey, this is a 4-hour game" beforehand, rather than shoving it to you, not mentioning it, paying $15 for it, and then getting something like that. That's when I get pissed. If they were honest with me, I wouldn't be pissed.
Or if they contacted their sort of support group and asked if they prefer an episodic gameplay,
Something
or
like
a 4-hour game to be released right then. I mean, that's what the deal with donating money towards a Kickstarter is. You should have a voice in the process. It's like a corporation.
It's definitely the point of a Kickstarter, but
But it's being bastardized.
So what we have here is two sides of crowdfunding, and they both did something Yeezy, is this because we're giving money to random people too easily and they aren't going through a publisher? Alex, what do you think?
I don't think the publisher. Well, I guess the publishers
Or the developer, rather.
out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we just need better oversight on things like Kickstarter and Steam Greenlight and all that. And these things do happen, and these are kind of growing pains. But I don't think this is a larger indication that this is gonna, this business model is going to be a failure.
Yeah, I think we need more accountability during every step. I think people need to be transparent about what they're doing and give their sort of sponsors updates. Also, I feel like this is a really bad step because if I was an investor who had invested in dark matter and then gotten burned like this, I'd be way more reluctant to invest in the future.
Any future
And even if you're
games.
someone who's just keeping track of the news, if you see something like that, that does not give you a good feeling about
Yeah.
kickstarting a game in the future.
Oh, people can take my money and do whatever the heck they want with it. That's not the point of Kickstarter. But
Admittedly, though, they got punched in the stomach and had their lunch money taken away. So
Yeah, they did. It's tough to rail on them like that, but it is also tough for the rest of the industry.
it's not so tough.
They all lost their jobs, but the industry also lost significant accountability.
well, the industry lost people who weren't the best kind of people in the industry. Like they
Well, they
weren't.
lost their jobs because they were just
They did it
They
poorly.
did a good job.
Exactly. It's like the same thing at any other job. You're gonna lose it if you don't deliver what you promised.
I think it's also important when you're doing a Kickstarter to not promise something that's kind of astronomically high. Always lowball with what you're promising on your Kickstarter.
That's what a lot of it. They try to. They'll say, "Oh, if we meet our first goal, it's gonna come to PC. If we meet our second goal, we'll try for a console. If we meet our third goal, we'll try for a handheld." So a lot of these are transparent. They're setting smaller goals to get their game made and then increasing them. Oh, if I hit this, then we'll add
Star
this.
Citizen.
Yeah.
$24 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are clamoring for the Star
yeah,
Citizen
yeah.
game.
You've seen the graphics in that, no wonder.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, I'm in for that game, but I'm not gonna kickstart it.
Oh, hell
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna wait a few years before I kickstart anything until the
Yeah.
whole system gets
I
ironed
mean,
out.
well, so here's another question though: how do you iron out a Kickstarter? There's multiple kinds of projects on there. Do they need a dedicated, game testing team who goes and checks on these companies?
Well, I don't know how you'd fund that. I guess Kickstarter
Yeah.
could kickstart a Kickstarting project
Kickstarter.
for getting a team together.
Kickstart itself.
But I guess that's the nature of Kickstarter. You're throwing money at a program, and I guess you have to keep in mind that it could fail.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess that's what makes it different from being part of a sponsorship team like you would with a large company or something.
Yeah.
You don't get a say in the process. It's something different. It's like funding a political campaign.
yeah, right. It's all
You throw the
lies
money
until
at
it's
it, and you're
actually
hoping for an outcome.
Yeah, definitely. That's all we need to talk about tonight. I like to go Sox. We got a big win tonight. World Series champions.
Yeah, we got the first game of the World Series. We'll all be watching in just a little bit. We hope you join us and root for your respective team, which should be the Red Sox.
I would like
Watching
to.
NBA preseasons.
I'd like to thank Drew for joining us.
Thank you, Eric.
And Alex for joining us from your undisclosed location. Thank you, Adrian, for producing and running the boards. Next, check us out on Monday in the Prudential Center. We're going to have a show where we're all over the news, more discussions, could get heated like last Monday's show.
Oh, it will.
It
I've
will.
seen the script.
Make sure you check us out then. For that, good night, Boston.
Ta-ta.